All right, let's talk about the new look Bears offense. So I think we've kind of talked about each of these pieces individually, but football is not like Madden where you just try to get the highest overall everywhere and then it just always happens to fit. You have to have, a way for this all to fit in, and there's schemes and things like that. So I figured let's talk about how this all fits together, which I actually think is still really good. So let's start off with this play. You're sitting here and you're wondering, what do you mean this play? This is a Seattle Seahawks play from last year. Why is this what we're talking about? Well, because the new offensive coordinator for the Bears, have a new offensive coordinator, and it's going to be Shane Waldron, who was the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks for actually the past several seasons. So I figured let's look at some Seahawks footage and see what exactly do they always love to do. And there's a lot of stuff like this, where they expect the receivers to be able to run routes together and run routes to help get other guys open. Something like this. Tyler Lockett's running a deep route to hopefully get DK Metcalf open more underneath. When this play begins, you see that it's working out all right. Again, this isn't the best example. I could probably find better ones, but you get the idea, which is, running schemes to try and get players open. Geno Smith is actually going to scramble a little bit. It gets really open, but then kind of throws a bit off. I'm sure Metcalf would tell you he should have got that one, and Geno Smith would tell you that he should have made a better throw. But either way, you kind of get the idea, right? This is a lot of what Seattle liked to do with Waldron there, and it's going to be a lot of what Chicago is going to want to do. So now let's go over to the Chicago Bears, and let's talk about what some of these receivers can do in these situations. First, the guy who was a Chicago Bear last year, DJ Moore. So the way this play is going to work is that it's zone coverage, and you have a receiver running more of an over-the-middle route. But this isn't DJ Moore. This is another receiver who just kind of, really just trying to take away some attention from the Atlanta Falcons defenders. That is the route Moore is going to run. Going to kind of fake as though he's going towards the sideline, but then run further deep down the field, and hopefully there's no one in the area. And you see when Fields takes the snap right here, Moore's, really good route runner, really does a good job of, you see right here, you're not exactly sure what route he's running. It kind of looks like he is going towards the sideline, doing a good job of selling that. So when he then cuts over, further down the field, you see how open he is. DJ Moore is quite frankly great at this type of stuff. It's part of what they brought him in for, is the fact that he can do a really good job at, running these types of routes where if someone can take away attention, he can get wide open. As you see, well-thrown ball, they are able to make the grab. So DJ Moore, will he fit this offense well? Yes, absolutely. So, okay, one down, but there's a couple other receivers that are maybe we'd have more question marks about, right? If you're a Bears fan watching this video, someone like Keenan Allen, might not have seen a ton of his film. But I went back and watched some, and this is what I found. So this play is going to be a zone coverage play. This is more of a traditional kind of over-the-middle route, but I do feel like he does some really subtle things in his route running to allow him to get open in these situations. Again, watch how when this play begins, you look at right here, it looks like he's going further deep, over the middle at this point. Like, kind of does a really good job of that little move, making it look like he is not going over the middle. So when he does, in fact, go over the middle, again, he's able to get wide open right here. Green Bay did not pick it up. So, having DJ Moore and Keenan Allen both be such good route runners, it can really help make the defense believe whatever route is coming, isn't coming. And whether that means that, Keenan Allen is running a route to get himself open. You see here, he makes the grab and picks up a ton of yards, but he can also do it to help set up guys, right? And so can DJ Moore. They can both run routes to get themselves open, but also run routes to get each other open. But, of course, that is not Chicago's only big weapon that they have added this offseason. They went out and drafted Odunze with pick number 9. So going over here, I think it's interesting because Odunze is someone who a lot of people almost talk about as if he's just like a pure jump ball downfield threat. And don't get me wrong, that is where a lot of his highlights come from. But can he succeed in situations like this where it's kind of a similar type route, trying to just get open over the middle? Well, you see that when this play begins, so Michael Penix looks down the field, and again, I think doing a good job with this beginning part of the route running aspect, not giving away what he's running, to the point that when he does cut, you see that the defensive back actually falls down. So while, all these players are capable of the highlight reels, I wanted to kind of really focus on the non-highlight plays and just kind of the more traditional plays. They're all also really good at this stuff. You see Penix makes the throw. Odunze is able to pick up a good amount of yards. Even takes a lot of guys to finally bring him down. As on top of that too. But really, it's the route running. It's not just when these guys are getting open, but it's going to be kind of similar skill sets as to these plays. Even though I showed them all just running routes that got themselves open here, it's the similar skill set that can also run setup routes and things like that. But finally, let's go over here. Caleb Williams. We have to talk about Caleb Williams because, yes, it's great that those other, three players are great at running those routes. Good scheme that can work. But doesn't mean anything if the quarterback can't get those players the football. So a play like this is, again, kind of the same kind of idea where you have zone coverage and one receiver is going to run more underneath, the other receiver is going to run a little bit further deep down the field. Caleb Williams takes the snap and you see that right here a defender is moving further in. So what does this mean? Well, you throw it there, right? That's where you want to go with the football. This just logically makes sense. And for Caleb Williams, he's already in the throwing motion. He's read this. He's saying, yes, I know where to go with the football. And is he correct here? Well, yeah, he absolutely is. He puts the ball in the right spots. So not only do they have a scheme that can work, three receivers who are really good at running those types of routes, they also have a quarterback who I think is really good at this stuff. Again, Caleb Williams, another guy who we mostly talk about the scrambling stuff and all of that. It's kind of interesting where all these guys have super highlight level abilities that we can talk about. But, at the end of the day, if you can't get the simple stuff down, none of that matters. But to me, I don't think they'll just have the simple stuff down. I think they'll be elite at the simple stuff, which is why the Bears are so exciting. So yeah, I thought this would be an interesting idea for a video because I do think that a lot of times when there's a team like this that is, a team that looks great on paper, which we see all the time. The famous example was the dream team of the Philadelphia Eagles back in the day of like a team that just looks good on paper. It'd be a very fun team to play on Madden, all of that good stuff. But then we see it all the time where sometimes those teams don't live up to the expectations. That's just another thing that happens. So while there could be some little things that we, once we see it in practice, doesn't work out quite as well, I do think looking at it this way as more of a, okay, what does the offensive coordinator typically try to do? Can the receivers typically run those routes, and can the quarterback run that offense? You need to view it that way before you think about the, Caleb Williams scrambling outside the pocket and throwing off balance 50 yards down the field to Romeo Odunze, who's going to make a catch in triple coverage and make the play. That's cool, but that's not going to happen too often, although it might happen. For the Bears, you want to see more of, can they consistently just get consistently get singles. The home runs are great, but can you consistently get singles? And for the Bears, it's hard to totally imagine a scenario where this completely fails, just given how well on paper it looks. Again, in practice, it could be a different thing. There's been plenty of situations that we thought for sure were going to work on paper and then in practice failed, and there will be a learning curve as well. A lot of, some of these guys are playing in their first season in the NFL. Keenan Allen's going to have to, play in a new city, play for a new team, which he hasn't had to do. DJ Moore's playing, he's still with the Bears, but he's going to learn a new scheme. There's all this stuff that has to happen, but do I think it's going to work out? I think it is, yeah. But that's what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. I do appreciate that. If you want to see more of my content, I have a movie channel. You can check that out. Link is in the description below. A lot of fun stuff on there. I have a good time with it. And there's, of course, plenty more content on this channel. I upload 3 videos a day. So, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, all that good stuff. But yeah, thanks.